It all starts innocently enough. You see a movie crew at the beginning, just 3 people. 2 men and their cameraman scouting in the jungle for the perfect shooting location. But then night falls, and things immediately go wrong. Their cameraman gets totally lost, walking in circles, back to the same spot over and over. It hits them. They're all completely lost. So, the 3 of them start looking for a decent place just to pitch a tent. But as they're searching, they spot something that makes their blood run cold. A man standing there just waiting for them. When he turns his face, they're utterly shocked. He's wearing this bizarre, strange mask. They are, of course, absolutely terrified, and they bolt. I mean, honestly, who wouldn't panic seeing someone in the middle of a dark jungle wearing a mask like that? Turns out, the masked guy wasn't alone. He had 2 companions, one of whom was a woman. One of the crew members frantically pulls out his mobile, desperate for a signal, hoping to call for help. But before he can, the masked man is right there and slaughters him with a chainsaw. Just like that, there are only 2 left, a woman and a cameraman. But those poor people didn't last long either. Another masked killer takes them out in a horrific way. It was a terrifying, agonizing death for them all, and the whole thing was recorded on the cameraman's camera. Then the scene shifts, and we meet a different movie crew. This one is also a trio, a girl named Hope, her partner Ben, or Bun as you called him, and their cameraman. Their producer had told them to find a good cabin for their short film. They couldn't find one anywhere, but Hope's partner suggests, "Hey, maybe we'll find one deeper in the woods." So they pile into the car and head off. They stop at a gas station to fill up, and the cameraman is recording everything. He explains to the camera, "The producer told me to record everything. The camera should never be turned off. That's why I'm doing this." They finally get deep into the forest and spot a lonely cabin. Hope's partner Ben is immediately freaked out. He's begging, "We need to leave. This is a bad idea." Naturally, they all rush in to investigate. It turns out the screaming is actually coming from the TV, just a scary movie. As they check the place out, they run into the cabin's owner. He's furious that they just walked into his place, but they explain they heard a scream and were worried. Hope, ever the determined filmmaker, tells him, "We'd like to rent this cabin for 2 days. The owner, seeing how desperate they are, tries to take advantage, demanding $2,000 for 2 days. That's way too much. Hope counters with $750 a day. He initially refuses, but then realizes it's still good money and finally agrees. As the owner is about to leave, he pauses and gives them a chilling warning. He tells them not to go any deeper into the forest. He explains there's a group of people living back there who were driven away by the government years ago. Some left, but others stayed and are now hiding, and they definitely won't like strangers on their land. With that disturbing detail, he leaves. Hope, Ben, and the cameraman are ecstatic. They found their perfect filming location. Hope calls the producer, who says he'll come by to check it out soon. To celebrate, they have some drinks and then head outside to scout for locations. The forest is perfect. While Hope is looking around, she sees something moving in the bushes, but she dismisses it. They go back inside and start reviewing the footage they shot in the woods. As they check the camera, they see something terrifying, the same masked man from the movie's opening footage. Hope is immediately alarmed. She tells Ben to quickly lock all the windows and doors. A short while later, the producer arrives. They frantically explain everything and show him the footage. He's completely dismissive, saying it must just be some kid playing a prank. He tells them to stay put, but Hope doesn't want to. He says they'll spend the night elsewhere, but they have to wait for a colleague who's coming to check the cabin. As she looks out, she sees the same masked man, and thankfully, it's all recorded on camera. She immediately shows the producer. He's just about to check the footage when there's a knock on the door. He goes out, and there's no one there. See? He goes back in and tells them to stop overthinking and start shooting their short film. Just as he's talking, there's another knock. This time, when the producer steps outside, he's face to face with the 3 masked killers. He tries to threaten them, to tell them to leave, but they don't even budge. Then, suddenly, one of the men smashes the producer on the head with a hammer. He bleeds profusely and dies a painful death right there. The cameraman quickly pulls his camera back inside. The 3 of them are in total shock. Now they realize why they had no signal. The masked killers have a signal blocking device, and to make matters worse, the lights go out. The killers are standing right outside, waiting. Hope realizes they need to defend themselves. "We need weapons," she says. They rush to the kitchen and grab a knife each, plus some flashlights. As they enter another room, the lights flicker back on, and Hope spots a box downstairs filled with CDs. One has a girl's name written on it. She puts it into the DVD player. What they see is stomach-turning. The footage shows the masked men brutally taking the same girl outside, tying her up, and then running a lawnmower over her face, ravaging her entire head. The poor girl dies in agony, the most chilling detail. The room where the girl was sleeping was a room in this very cabin. This means these killers have been doing this for a long, long time. They kill anyone who comes to the cabin or the forest, and they film it all. Utterly terrified, they call out to the killers, "What do you want?" Hope tries to reason with the masked woman, pleading, "I didn't do anything. I'm just a filmmaker. Let us go." They start discussing how they can make a run for his car, but before they can, the killers send a video to Hope's phone. It shows the killers have captured the partner and are brutally torturing him with a drill. They pull out his nails and then, finally, they kill him. To rub salt in the wound, they bring the partner's body to the window and then puncture the tires of his car, completely destroying their escape plan. Ben, in a desperate attempt to call the police, goes searching for a signal, but he comes back even faster than he left because the killers had attacked him, leaving him in a critical condition. Back inside, Ben notices only 2 killers are outside. Where did the third one go? They realize he must be inside and start checking the cabin. Ben had the foresight to keep a crowbar nearby. As they enter a messy room, Ben checks the bed, and the third killer, who was hiding underneath, grabs his legs. Ben doesn't hesitate. He thrusts the crowbar into the killer's face, killing him instantly. The 2 remaining killers outside decide to smoke them out by setting the cabin on fire. Hope, Ben, and the cameraman grab their cameras to record everything. As the lights go out again, the masked woman attacks them. Inside the cabin, the lights come back on, and the masked woman attacks Ben from behind. Ben, in a split second, plunges his knife into her neck, killing the lady. Ben and the cameraman escape the burning cabin and flee, but the darkness separates them. Meanwhile, Hope is running through the woods when the last remaining man attacks her with a huge knife. She manages to get away and reaches her car, but the killer appears with a chainsaw, forcing her to flee again. The cameraman finds a signal and is just about to call the police when another masked man ambushes him from behind and kills him. This was a different killer from the chainsaw guy, which means there are many, many more of them out there. Hope runs to the main road and a car comes toward her. It's the cabin owner. Hope jumps in, tells him everything, and begs for help. But instead of helping, the owner starts driving her back toward the cabin. Then comes the sickening revelation. The owner was one of the masked men all along. Realizing her doom, Hope plunges her knife into his stomach and escapes. Ben, still on the run, reaches an old cabin where he finds the cameraman's body. When he goes inside to check, the killer with the chainsaw suddenly appears and attacks him, killing him as well. Hope is recording a message. "This could be my last message. I want anyone who finds this video to hunt down and kill these masked men with the help of the police." She sets a trap for the killer who is recording her, and when he falls into it, she relentlessly smashes his head with a rock, killing him. She's about to flee, but the man with the chainsaw appears and cuts her stomach with the saw. Hope, however, keeps running, finds the killer, and this time plunges her knife into his chest, ripping him apart. She kills him too. We then see a video of Hope. It's a podcast where she tells her unbelievable story, recounting how her friends were murdered. "I was almost killed too," she says, "but I faced them and barely escaped." She announces that she's going to make a huge movie about the whole ordeal. After the podcast, Hope goes home to sleep. And here is the truly final, horrific moment. Someone sneaks into her house and starts recording. It is, of course, one of the other masked men. He finally kills Hope too. The poor thing, who thought she had survived, was the only one left. But the killers, who had been stalking her ever since, got their chance and took her life. These psycho killers murder anyone who enters the forest because they see it as their home. They believe city dwellers are destroying their land and their way of life, and they won't tolerate it. They think they are protecting their home, but in the most dangerous, crazy way possible, killing without reason. They even make movies of their victims to prove what they do to anyone who crosses them. And with that horrific final act, the film ends.